Hey everybody, Dr. Strife here, bringing you a new video. Today I got a code for Demoniaca, I believe I'm saying that right, Everlasting Night. And I was provided a code from the publisher, so I appreciate that. I wish I could say a lot about this game that I really enjoyed. I'm usually not a negative person, but I will go ahead and start out with some positives, because this game does have some positives. This is put out by EastAsiaSoft. And it's supposed to be, I guess, kind of a Castlevania slash fighting game style hybrid game, which sounds cool in concept, and there have been games in the past that have tried to take fighting game mechanics and implement them into different types of genres. For example, you had Guilty Gear Judgment, which tried to take the combat of a fighting game but mix it into a 2D brawler style, kind of like Streets of Rage, for example. Now this game, I will say, graphically is really nice. It definitely has this 16-bit aesthetic to it. Definitely feels kind of like if SNK made a Castlevania game. That has the similar art style. It's very dark art style. There are boobs in places, so if you're sensitive to boobs, that's a thing. Blood, it's a very dark game. And the music is not too bad, though I've only heard like really a couple of the tracks. I'm actually struggling to play this game, but the graphics look great. Here's where my problems with the game start coming in, is the gameplay, unfortunately. You know, I may come back and revisit this, but I do want to get this video out, that I am not enjoying this game. It sounds like a great concept, and like the concept and the ideas are there. But I feel like this thing was so poorly executed. And I'm really disappointed to say that this game is not very fun. So, what am I talking about? So, yes, it does have this whole thing where, you know, you have these fighting game style moves, but they really don't do a whole lot. Like, they do add a little variety to the combat. One of my biggest gripes is, one of the things you would find in a fighting game is customability when it comes to the controls. And this has none of that. You are given what you were given. I find that it's really weird that I am reviewing this on Switch, and the X and Y buttons at the top are for kicks, and then the B and A are for punches. Which normally, default controls that would be switched. For some reason, it's not on here. I don't know why. They did map some of the menu options to the right and left shoulder button, which I thought was very weird. Also, when you go to the inventory menu, it doesn't pause it. I mean, if it was like a Souls game where it was like constantly online, I can understand the reason for not having a pause feature, but you can pause to go into like general settings. I feel like if they just combine it into one menu and pause, that'd be fine, but if you're not realizing what you're doing in your situation where you need to equip or use an item or change something, you know, that makes it very difficult. But let's get back to the moves. Yeah, there are moves, and there are special moves that use certain amount of meter, and that's okay. That works fine. And the controls, like, they do respond well. Like, even though I do find the setup a little weird, the trigger button for jump doesn't bother me too much. I got kind of used to it, and another button on the trigger's block, which makes sense because you can't hold back to block here because you just turn around. So that part works fine. I don't have much problem with the platforming and stuff. That seems to work fine. It seems to be responsive for the most part. What I do have a problem with is the type of enemies and enemy placement, and the fact that the combat sometimes doesn't work for everything. So, what do I mean? For example, there's this one clip here that you will see that the character is trying to get to this one spot, but there's these two floating orbs. I cannot find a way to get past them without taking damage. You got this wall jump maneuver, but they're so close together and the jump is so narrow. If it is possible, you have to be really good with it. I found, like, somehow, like, if you get lucky enough, you can, like, sometimes, like, jump through, or sort of, and, like, barely tap one of the bottom ones, and then it'll knock you to the platform you get to get to the save point. But if you're low in health, you know, that's going to be annoying, because there's not very many checkpoints. A lot of the checkpoints are manual, kind of like the traditional Castlevania games, which is not a big deal, but they're kind of spaced out weird. And also, some of them are difficult to get to, and I'm not really for sure what the thought process was on that, honestly. Also, smaller enemies are very hard to hit. It is hand-to-hand combat. The character doesn't get any weapons, but the problem I'm having. Just not connecting. And you have this one enemy that will turn you to stone, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of invincibility, like for a couple seconds for you to maneuver away or get around them. It's just instant. So as soon as you break out, you're frozen again, and you just keep eating damage. So I found that I would have to avoid that enemy because none of my moves would reach them. You do unlock more special moves later on, but like, there's good thing to have challenge, but it doesn't feel like a fun challenge. It feels like they just put like these spongy enemies in the way in the beginning. And you do level up and you do get stronger. You do find new equipment to enhance yourself. You can increase your stats and stuff as you level up, which is great. I just was not impressed with this game at all, and it's kind of sad because it had some neat ideas. But it feels like they had a concept, but they didn't know how to execute on it, and I can't recommend this. I don't really enjoy it at all. I hate to be that way, but like, maybe if they developed another one, or one in a similar vein, they could incorporate more of these, but I feel like they only had a really basic bare bones grasp of what a fighting game really is, and just wanted to throw that in there, but it's just not good. I'm sorry, I just did not enjoy it. If you enjoy these kind of games, if you did enjoy it, let me know. If you did enjoy or play it, let me know. Just let me know what your thoughts are. And we'll see if we can get this out. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. Subscribe, like, share the video if you can. And until next time, everybody, game on.